Hi guys, Mrs. Abbys. Thought we could do a bit of maths and we thought we could do some finding fractions of an amount because I remember how fantastic you were at your fractions in year 2. So today we're going to be finding a fraction of an amount, and by the end of the lesson you'll be able to recognise and say 1/3, 1/4, 2/4 and 3/4. You will be able to use jottings, or whether it's diagrams, or whether it's jotting down some calculations, some working out, to identify 1/3, 1/4, 2/4 and 3/4 of an amount, and also be able to solve real life problems involving all of those fractions. So a quick recap, I want you to just have a think. Maybe you could have a bit of a chant of them out loud. Maybe you could talk with your adults at home or your brothers and sisters. How do you say these fractions? Maybe you could test one another. So we've got 1/2, we've got 1/4, 2/4 and 3/4. Now, these are always the trickiest fractions to remember how to say, because you would think that you would say, oh, 1, 2. And we know that that number there, the denominator at the bottom, shows that it's 2 equal parts, but we say that they are halves. And the same here. This shows that we are maybe sharing the shape into 4 pieces, or an amount into 4 pieces, but we say that we are showing it into quarters. So a fraction tells you how many parts of a whole you have, and they are shown by having one number on top of the other. So here is my whole pizza, and we can see it has been split into, or shared into, 4 equal parts, which means it's been shared into quarters. And there are always 2 parts to a fraction: the number on the top here, which is called the numerator, and this shows how many parts you have. It might show how many parts you've eaten, it might show how many parts you've given out to somebody and shared to somebody. And in this example here, the numerator is 1, because it's shown that we have 1 of those equal parts. The number on the bottom is called the denominator, and that shows us how many parts something has been divided equally into. And in this example of the pizza, like we talked about, it has been shared into 4 equal parts. So our denominator is 4. And if I decided to eat this part of the pizza, I have eaten 1/4. If I decided to eat these 2 parts of the pizza, I've eaten 2/4. And I can also say I've eaten 1/2, because I could share it just into halves. So today we're going to find our fractions of amounts using that knowledge. So I want to find 1/4 of 16. Now we're looking at the denominator. How many equal parts am I sharing this amount into? I'm sharing it into 4 equal parts. And I really like to make things really visual for myself, so I'm going to draw 4 equal rectangles, and that will be where I share my 16, I'm going to call them my 16 chocolate buttons into. So 16 chocolate buttons, and I'm sharing them into 4 equal parts between possibly 4 friends. So I'm going to share them equally. Would this be equal if I did this? I'm going to go 1 there, 1 there, 1 there, 1 there. Is that sharing equally? No, it's not. So let's undo that, because to share equally, I need to do 1 at a time. So 1 for you, 1 for you, 1 for you, 1 for you. I am sharing equally now. So my 4 children have each got 1 chocolate button at the moment. 1 for you, 1 for you, 1 for you, 1 for you. They now have 2 chocolate buttons each. 1 for you, 1 for you, 1 for you, 1 for you. Oh, what did I do wrong? Yeah, that's right. Instead of giving this one to this child, I gave it to the 3rd child, and then that would not have been sharing equally. Let's do our last 4. 1 for you, 1 for you, 1 for you, and 1 for you. So each child now has 1, 2, 3, 4 chocolate buttons, which means 1/4 of 16 is 4. And I can check that, because if each child now has 4 chocolate buttons. This should then total 16. So 4 add 4 is 8. 8 add 4 is 12. 12 add 4 is 16. So in total, there are 16 chocolate buttons. I wonder if you could have a go now at finding 1/4 of 20 and 1/4 of 28. And we'll come back to this one in a second. So pause the video and see if you can have a go, do some jottings of your own at finding 1/4 of 20 and 1/4 of 28. So hopefully these are the answers that you found. 1/4 of 20 is 5, 1/4 of 28 is 7. Now, here we are finding a non-unit fraction of amount because the numerator is no longer 1, it is now 2/4 of 16. Now if we go back, we found 1/4 and we found that 1/4 of 16 was 4. There's my 1/4. There's 2/4. There's 3/4. And there's 4/4. So what do you think I will do to find 2/4 of 16? That is right. So what I will do now is I will sum up, I will find the total of my 1/4 and my 2/4. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 2/4 of 16 is, oh, not 9, is 8. Excellent. Maybe you could have a go now at figuring out what 3/4 is. Let's change that to 3/4. See if you can figure out what 3/4 is using that method. So hopefully you found that 3/4 of 16 is 12 because we've got 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. So we've got 4, 8, 12. Well done. Now I wonder if you could have a go at this problem. This is us using our problem solving, our reasoning to justify the mistake that somebody has made. So Jessie is writing simple fraction sentences. She knows that 1/2 of 8 is 4. That's what she says. 1/2 of 8 equals 4. So she's saying 1/4 of 8 is 8. Is she correct? See if you can explain whether she's correct or incorrect and jot down some of your, maybe your calculations, maybe some of your jottings like we did with the sharing, and you could send them in to our children at stalbansceacademy.com to show me your answers. Good luck.